Hi again, Gregg of the News Tribune, CenturyLink Field in Seattle. The Seahawks are 6-1. First time that's happened since 2013. You know how that season ended with the franchise's only Super Bowl championship. I could talk to you, go on and on about another sterling day by Russell Wilson. 4 more touchdown passes. The 4th game out of 7 that he's had at least 4 or 5 TDs. 26 touchdown passes on the season. One behind Tom Brady's NFL record through 7 games. We could go on about DK Metcalf, another wowing physical specimen of a play. 46-yard catch and run for a touchdown when he ran past 4 49ers like they were light poles. 12 catches out of 15 targets. Career day for Metcalf, 161 yards and 2 touchdowns in the first half, 1 week after Tyler Lockett went nuts in the desert. But what interests me most, and what I think tells us most about the rest of this season, is Seattle defensively and their approach and their scheme. The first 3 games of the season with Jamal Adams at safety, they were blitzing all over the place. Adams was blitzing double-digit times in a game. The Seahawks were blitzing some 40-50% of the time, much different than Pete Carroll likes to play defense. But the Seahawks won those games with quarterbacks lighting them up for 400 yards, 19 plays with 20 or more yards in those first 3 games. In Game 3, Adams strained his groin, of course, hasn't played since. And Carroll, in the next 3 games, scrapped most of the blitzing. Dropped off in coverage, played deep, don't get beat over the top, his number 1 rule on defense. And he had his linebackers, Wagner and Wright, dropping 15, 20 yards in coverage. It worked against Ryan Fitzpatrick in Miami and Kirk Cousins against Minnesota with wins. It did not work against Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury and the Cardinals last week. They shredded them, 360 yards, 48 dropbacks, no times even touched, let alone sacked by the Seahawks defense. Seahawks lose their first game by blowing double-digit leads twice, 3 times, counting the first half 20-7 lead. After the game, Carroll said, "I screwed up. I should have recognized during that game that we need to bring more pressure." His quote was, "We need to help our guys." And he meant coaches schematically. Now you can talk about Ken Norton Jr. and why does he still have a job, and Dan Quinn should come in here, but let's make no mistake, the defense is Pete Carroll's. He tells Norton what to call in the game plan, not game to game, or I should say play to play in each game, but in the game plan, he tells them who to play and how to go about the games during the weeks. It's Pete Carroll's defense. Well, this week he said we're blitzing. Interestingly, it didn't happen right away. Early in the game, San Francisco was kicking Seattle up and down the field on both sides of the ball, and they were doing it by running. Rasheed Mostert is on injured reserve, but Tevin Coleman came off IR on Saturday and had 3 carries for 20 yards, and it looked like San Francisco was going to run their way, the way they like to run their offense, setting up play-action passes. But then in the first quarter, Coleman got hurt again, the same knee he was on IR for. It seemed at that point that Carroll and Ken Norton decided to unleash the blitz because they did not fear San Francisco's run game with their 2 top running backs sidelined. That's when the game changed schematically. Bobby Wagner and Jordan Brooks were blitzing over the A and B gaps between the guard and center and over the center. The Seahawks were banking on the fact that Garoppolo, who had a high ankle sprain in September, would not be able to run away from those inside blitzes, and that's exactly what happened. You saw the results. Wagner had 2 of the 3 sacks for Seattle. 3 sacks is a third of their total for the season coming into this game. Alton Robinson, who I think should play a lot more than he has, started today because Benson Mayowa was injured. He got his 2nd sack of his career in the first half. They hit Jimmy Garoppolo 7 times after not hitting Kyler Murray. I know Murray's a lot faster than Garoppolo, but schematically they gave themselves a chance. And by the end of the 3rd quarter, Garoppolo had 84 total yards passing. It was a 30-7 game, and Garoppolo was limping into the 49ers locker room. Game over. I know Nick Mullins came in, 3 touchdowns in the 4th quarter. Seahawks answered with 1. Cosmetic final score 37-27. What won this game was the pressure that the Seahawks finally applied on defense. After the game, Pete Carroll said more's coming because Jamal Adams is coming back. He's going to play in Buffalo this coming week in what is shaping up to quite a game in Western New York. 2 division leaders, the 6-1 Seahawks and the 6-2 Buffalo Bills, and Jamal Adams is going to play. Carlos Dunlap is going to play first game for Seattle after the trade from Cincinnati last week. And Carroll said more blitzing is coming. He showed in today's game where he wants to cast his lot with this defense, and that's to bring more pressure to help the defensive front 4 that absolutely needs all the help it can get, and that's why Dunlap is here. To me, that's the biggest takeaway of this game. Afterwards, Bobby Wagner basically said it's about time, not using those words. Said he always likes to blitz, and they needed to be more aggressive. And the play calling allowed him to be more aggressive. He said he has fun doing it. The trick now is to not give up the big plays. If they can keep blitzing, Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't able to do it, but the quarterbacks they're going to have to beat to get to the Super Bowl, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, those guys can exploit blitzes better than anybody in the league. So that's the challenge for Seattle in how they blitz. We'll see how the Seahawks blitz with Jamal Adams when he returns at Buffalo this coming week. All my coverage is at thenewstribune.com and on Twitter at GBellSeattle. Thanks for watching.